Okay guys, let's talk optics. We do a lot of fun stuff on the channel, at least we try to. Inside we're just dying. But that's a me problem, not a you problem. Your problem is deciding which optic is best for you. Now, obviously we are well known for our holographic weapon sight, or HWS line. We make the best holographic weapon sight we think on the planet, and we stand by that statement. However, we also make a wide variety of magnified optics, commonly referred to as scopes, for a variety of different use cases. So today we'd like to give you a little bit of a deep dive, nothing too nerdy and sciencey, but a little bit of an overview and more of an explanation on what these optics are and maybe how they be best used for you, the end user. So let's start over here with the LPVO. Probably the most common optic that people think of these days when they think of scopes, right? All right, so LPVO, low power variable optic, or maybe I should have done it LPVO because mirror images, and we're living in a hologram anyway, so I don't really know how that works. What is physics? Anyway, low power variable optics. That means that it goes from a low power range, right? Typically 1 to 1.5, variable, meaning it varies, to an indeterminate power range, right? So typically we've got 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10, and you're going to see those in both second focal plane and first focal plane. What does that mean? That is where the reticle is within the optical lineup of glass. And again, that's about as deep as I'm going to get into that, because at that point you fall off a real steep sciencey nerd cliff, and we don't want to make this an hour-long video. Bottom line is, what does that mean for you? That means that with a second focal plane optic, you need to zero your optic at maximum magnification, and the reticle that you have inside of the optic will not change size as you move through your power band, but the zero is only accurate at the distance at which you zero it at maximum magnification. And then you can use either MRAD or MOA to do the math to determine where your point of aim should be to get the point of impact you want at different power ranges. Now, first focal plane. That means that you can zero at any magnification range, and the zero applies through the entire variable range of magnification. So for instance, for here, we have our Voodoo X line. This is our Voodoo X 1 to 6. Second focal planes are always typically going to be a little bit cheaper. They have less glass. They are going to be typically in that 1 to 6, 1 to 8 range, although this is going to change, but that's our lineup for second focal plane. And then we have an MPVO, which we'll get to next. And then we have our probably most popular LPVO. This is going to be our 1 to 10. This is exceedingly clear glass, great light transmission, and we are very proud of this thing. It's used by a variety of different military units. It's used around the world, and it's super popular in the civilian market as well. This is a first focal plane optic. It is fantastic, and it has a variety of different reticle options for you. Super quick on low power variable optics. Let's move to MPVOs, or MPVO, medium power variable optics. What does that mean? Well, kind of self-explanatory. Well, we're not starting all the way at the low end of magnification. We're going to start somewhere a little bit higher. So as an example, we have our new 3 to 9. Super cool optic. This is sort of filling that, in the past, what we saw maybe with prismatic or fixed power optics, like the ACOG or some of the other offerings in the prismatic optic space, where you are going to start again at a 3x magnification, go up to 9, maybe 8, 10, 12, something like that, depending on who's making it. And the idea behind this is you're going to typically see it paired, unless you're not concerned about close range shooting, with some sort of red dot. Again, here you can see we have this with our eFlex mount, which you can buy on our website, EOTECH.com. The idea here is that you're going to put this on a rifle that you are definitely going to shoot at a variety of ranges. LPVOs offer a great option for up close shooting with an illuminated reticle at 1 power. It can be very quick, especially if you're shooting both eyes open. And then they have the ability to stretch out a little bit and observe at distance, which is a lot of the purpose behind magnified optics, not just shooting at longer ranges, but can also stretch you out there and get you higher confidence levels as you're shooting farther out. MPVOs, maybe you're seeing that on that sort of setup where it's a longer 5.56 or intermediate caliber of some kind, or 6.5, 6.8, something like that, where you don't want a high power variable optic, but you do want something with more magnification, but on a slightly smaller form factor. Again, we're just providing options to you, the end user, so you can pick what's best for you. So the idea again with MPVOs is this is a second focal plane optic. There are some MPVOs out there that are first focal plane. And again, we're trying to fit the maximum number of useful use cases for you, the end user, while also keeping the price at the minimum so you guys are able to invest more in ammunition and training time. And so that's our 3 to 9, and that's sort of the overview of an MPVO, right? You're going to have either a longer barreled intermediate caliber or a heavier caliber in a variety of different barrel lengths and use case applications for which you built the gun. And it's going to provide you that slightly longer distance, slightly higher base magnification, but will typically be paired with some sort of red dot unless you're really not worried about up close shooting at all. Finally, we have our HPVOs, which definitely sounds like some sort of condition you may get in crazy weekend in Vegas, but it's not. In fact, it's a high power variable optic. And what that means is we're going to start higher up in the power range band, and we're going to go much higher at the maximum magnification. So this is our 5 to 25. This is definitely our flagship line, or flagship optic, an offering when it comes to the higher end of magnification. This is a first focal plane. It's going to come in MOA and reticle options. And this is definitely designed for your longer range use cases, right? So you're going to see this on bolt guns, higher caliber or larger caliber, semi-auto gas guns, that kind of stuff, where you are definitely much more concerned with that probably 400 to 500 and beyond ranges. And that's going to, again, provide really great glass clarity, really great light transmission. The objective lens here is extremely large. We made it as big as we could to get as much light in without getting to the point where you want these lower mounts, and it might actually intersect with the rail and interact with the rail and prevent some mounting options. So again, guys, remember, everything in life is a trade-off. Physics applies, and we have to balance not just expected use cases, but also manufacturing costs, cost to the end user, and then what we think is going to be best serving you guys. And that's why we always want that feedback from you on what you're doing with them and what you'd like to see in the future. So the HPVO, or high power variable optic, again, to summarize, is for those heavier caliber guns that you're dedicating to more long range applications. And they work very, very well for that. But again, as I said before, everything in life is a trade-off, right? So if you're like, hey, I've got my, I don't know, 6.5, 6.8 semi-auto gas gun with a tripod or a bag, and it's suppressed and it's super cool, and I'm gonna go shoot it at 1,200 yards, awesome, good for you. But then you also are like, hey, I wanna shoot this at 4 feet just in case. Well, you're gonna run into some trade-offs, right? So maybe you need to set up with an offset red dot, or look at an MPVO, or potentially even looking at learning how to shoot farther out with a lower magnification, which you absolutely can do. A lot of times, guys, we're dialing in pretty far to observe and confirm PID, a positive identification of a target, something like that. And then we're gonna actually dial back to shoot, because a lot of times with these more modern reticles, being able to see trace, those sorts of things, you actually wanna have a wider field of view to observe bullet impact should you miss, and just get a bigger, more informative picture of the environment in which you are sending rounds, because that is a super important thing as well. So again, longer range shooting, more glass on guns, all of this, it's cool. But it's more to learn, right? It's not just getting your 10.5, AR with a pistol brace and throwing a HWS on it and going out and blasting at 25, right? There's a lot more to this that goes into it if you want to be a professional end user and a responsibly armed citizen, which of course we encourage you to do, because you are worth it, and you should invest in yourself. So, you got any comments, questions? I know that was just a very high-level overview, but we wanted to sort of spin you guys up on our different line of LPVOs, MPVOs, and HPVOs. Yeah, let me know what you think down below. Tell me all the things I got wrong. As always, we appreciate the engagement. Thank you so much for watching. Train hard, live free. See you next time.